Looks possible. Getting off the line to go. On my left foot. The event's on the right. On the right, on the right, on the right. What? Get up there. Ready? Up. Right now, I'm out here really fucking shit up, okay? We got Ziggers and we got Storm Z, so I don't know what the fuck's going on, but they're gonna be here. Thanks guys for checking out this video. If you like some high quality chest rigs or LBEs or even plate carriers, check out CARCAJOU Tactical, Canadian company. Super cool gear. Save 10% with StatTech 23, just like this split rig I got here. There's videos you can check it out. Anyway, also like to thank LAPA Gear. Cool leaf suits they make. They send them out to us. They're awesome. Go ahead and check them out if you want to support a Ukrainian company, and also camouflage. Very affordable and very effective for camouflage. Much better than just fucking making your own bullshit ghillie suit. We have a Telegram channel and community. There'll be the first link in the description, and in there we give away gun and gear deals, do tactic breakdowns, and also we have a networking community in there, which most of it's a little retarded, but you can meet other guys to train with. And the FTX that we went to that we're talking about in this video, we actually would not have known about it without our Telegram channel. And other guys in there are playing FTXs, and we might do one in the future. So join that if you want to be part of a real community. Meet some guys and do some real networking. Also, because screw YouTube, you never know how long we'll be here. And if you got some land, 100 acres plus, or know somebody willing to rent it out for an FTX here in the... Yeah, within the next 2 months, let us know. Let us know, yeah. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of, I guess this is a AAR of the FTX that we recently went to in Ohio, which was our last video. We kind of gave you the full footage of what we experienced there. A lot of guys were interested in getting involved in one of those. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what we did and what we learned. And also, by the way, this video is sponsored by Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. All right, if you didn't see our last video and you're new to the channel, I'll put it up in the little tab thing. You can check out the unedited, well, lightly edited, long form version of what we got to experience at the FTX. Also, really a great opportunity to be able to go experience one of the Gray Solutions Group's leadership courses. They were a great bunch of guys. Got invited out to this event, and we had a great time, even though it didn't go as planned. Spoiler, it did get canceled due to hazardous conditions. It fucking rained a shit ton, and the rivers flood. It was like over people's heads, so it was raining 2 days prior to us arriving, and then it was raining, was it like 3 days after this thing indexed, so it was a lot of... It was pissing. Like, it was torrential downpours from the moment we arrived. A lot of people were interested in the comments about like where they can get involved in an FTX like that. They're also having an event in August 2025, which you can sign up for that in the... we'll add a link in the description for you guys, but it's very... For what you're getting, it's actually very high value, because other types of training events that you'd go to are going to be like 2 to 3 times the amount. It's going to be, you're going to work with people you never worked with before. You're going to be dropped off in locations you've never been before if you're not like familiar with them. And so it'll be a great learning experience for you, also working with people that you don't regularly click with. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what was involved in the actual preparation for the FTX, because we didn't just raw dog it. It took like 2 months of preparation. So we'll get into that. Talk a little bit about the weather, because the weather was very interesting. It was a total curveball that we didn't completely expect. Although I don't know, I didn't
probably could have prepared for that a little bit better. And our experience just being involved in FTX, because we haven't really done anything like that at that scale, because they had like 30 guys there, which was super cool to experience. We've only done like very small training stuff.
Only maybe up to like a large team size of like 5 guys, being able to run an op with 5 guys. This was like, you had multiple teams, multiple squads, a platoon size element, and we had an op 4 to deal with.
And we'll also be roasting ourselves, giving you the shit that we learned, which if you watched the previous video, it'll be probably somewhat obvious, but we got some criticisms. We're going to be telling you what we did actually wrong. Start off with the preparations. We didn't just fucking raw dog or wing it.
Fortunately enough, if you're in our Telegram, we've known about this for several months, but we didn't officially decide on it till I think like 3 months in, till the event. Paid for it, started from there. After we paid for it, we started like diving head first in this thing. Fitness preparations, I lift regularly, and then I don't do cardio at all pretty much, other than short break periods between my lifts. For this FTX, started running at least once a week, and it was 2 miles at a time. So I actually was able to cut down my run times pretty.
Real quick, I wanted to give a preface of how we even found out about this FTX, because
I just said from our Telegram.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have some cool dudes. Willie, Chud, shout out to you guys.
In our Telegram. And, oh yeah, you did go over this, dude. I'm retarded.
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut that part out. It was very well organized compared to what I expected. It's not just like a thing that you're just like, you just show up like it's some like random class and you just come with a gear list. We had to be physically fit for what we expected to. Our squad leader, you get, basically when you sign up, you get assigned a squad and a team, and then there's squad leaders, team leaders that you're going to be assigned to. And our squad leader, I don't know, we can't speak for other squads and teams, but our squad leader definitely pushed everyone to get very fit, which I have to give him kudos for.
Willie did a really good job of making sure everybody was fit, even though not everybody posted their stuff.
Yeah, one of the first things that he was saying when we were in there, he set standards that he wanted everyone to meet, which I think the most important one was probably the 2 mile time. He set a 2 mile time of like 20 minutes, which honestly is dog shit, but it's better because most people are out of shape. So yeah, he encouraged everyone to run and lift, and there was a squat and like bench standard that he was telling people to reach, which that's really not as important, honestly. For what we're doing, I feel like the cardio,
especially if you didn't have a short amount of time. I know, like being able to bench 225 as a standard and trying to.
That actually wasn't the standard. It was 180.
I thought it was 225.
That was squat.
Well, getting sometimes like up in weight, especially if you're new to lifting, takes a while. At least a year to get up into those like 200 numbers.
Everyone was responsible for their NPT, but the team leader and squad, especially the squad leader and the team leader, pushed us, which he ended up being my team leader, which there's like 3 guys in each team, and the squad had like 7, about roughly, depending on what squad it was.
Yeah, each team had 3 guys, so 2 team leaders and a squad leader and 2 other squads, a PL that did everything, and then we had like an OC to adjudicate things. But I was a team leader. So I had him, he was part of my team, and then 1 other dude, and then there was another team in our squad. But Willie, our squad leader, did a really great job again. Really pushed the fitness thing really hard. I know me and my brother here were putting in work. Not a lot. It was accountability, like a personal accountability thing. So you had to do it yourself. Not everybody was posting their times in there, but I know me and my brother were, and Willie, our squad leader, was also motivated by everybody putting his times in there. The beat, he's a really physically fit dude, really good run times.
He set a good example.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that he really pushed is knowing like the basic battle drills, which if you don't know the basic battle drills, you can join our StatTac Telegram channel.
I ended up creating a resource page. It's also in our Telegram of places you can find all the battle drills. And this event, it was more focused on area recon, so stuff about area recon, sit reps, stuff like that in our Telegram.
Yeah, what were the most important battle drills?
Well, we didn't really, it was mostly patrolling techniques from what we experienced. And I know they're heavily wanted us to know breaking contact. I don't know the battle drills off the top of my head, but
yeah, basically you need to know how to break contact.
Break contact and get online, everything like that.
Patrolling formations, how to move.
That's basically what it was focused on. We didn't get too experienced the whole event due to hazardous conditions, which unfortunately caused the event to end. But still, we had a lot to learn off this. All right, what else did you do to prep prior to this thing other than physical fitness and learning battle drills and missions and stuff like that?
For me, dude, honestly, I know you said besides physical fitness, I was running 2 times a week. I lift, which I've been doing pretty consistently this year, trying to get strong. Honestly, dude, I'll be honest. I don't even think I told you this, like on the way there, like the long car right there. I was like, dude, I haven't looked at the map, and I haven't done any homework. Like I read like what they sent us a document, like giving us like the storyline of. They
sent us a backstory. There's a document they sent out for a backstory for what was going on in the event, and then also kind of like our mission. So what our mission statement was and why we were there, what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to know it. And then on top of that, I sat through several op orders and plannings since I was the team leader to know what we were supposed to do the entire event. They had a map. They shared it all on CalTopo.
We sat through dude, fucking get some pep in your step, dude. You having all the energy, dude.
I don't fucking
You gotta blow your nose, dude?
No. So we had to do CalTopo, fucking sat through several meetings, learn everything that they were planning on doing, all the fucking OPs, the phase lines, where the trench was. They were very adamant about not having any of the marked maps go outside the trenches. I didn't even bring a marked map in. I just had the unmarked stuff, and I kind of tried to memorize all the phase lines I could and where everything was from previous op orders because we had 2 months of prep. So I printed off maps even for us to look at while we're on the way up there. Well, at least he had to, because I kind of figured he wasn't going to do anything because he's a very busy man, and I have a lot of time off.
We had a long drive there to study it.
Yeah, we drove like 7 hours.
And then the team leaders were also responsible for the PCIs.
Oh, PCCs and PCIs. Yeah, checking, make sure everybody had everything, didn't have any live rounds. Also make sure they had all their equipment, which a lot of stuff was kind of up personal equipment. Yeah, they have a packing list, but a lot of it's up to you whether or not to have. We had one dude who's actually in our Telegram show up with a poncho, a flick system, and a rifle or something like that. Wendigo. Absolute Chad falling asleep with nothing but a...
He fell asleep like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, pretty actually cool.
The Telegram aspect was actually very cool because you actually got to kind of meet your team and squad and get to know them a little bit, because like we were in the same team, which there's 3 people, so we had a random guy on our team that we didn't know. Got to know him a little bit over Telegram, and that helps build rapport and help us get on the same page, and thankfully I ended up being a pretty cool guy.
Oh yeah, another thing we did for prepping, at least I did, is I made sure I changed out all my batteries, especially in Telegram. I preset messages just in case I didn't forget the schedule out to send out to the guys. As a team leader, make sure they remind them to do things.
I was gonna say this was in like the first week of May that we were doing this, so we're expecting the weather to be somewhat warm, but we did look in the forecast and it was going to be in like the 60s during the day, chance of rain, and then like at night it was going to get down to like 40 degrees or something. So we were it was kind of like an awkward temperature to like figure out what sleeping system we should bring, because you could be a hard ass and like go light, which would be cool, but I personally value my sleep, dude. I do not want to be out there shivering, getting 0 fucking sleep.
And it was also torrential downpours the entire time. The only really breaks that we had was...
We didn't know that though until pretty much the day of.
It went from absolutely dumping on us to like we'd get periods of like a mist, but it never stopped. I ended up going from my summer sleep system thing, which is just a bivy. I never try to go without the bivy and a whoopee, and I upgraded to my sleep actual system where I had like the winter layer because I don't have my summer layer, and then the bivy, and I shoved that in my ruck, which actually took up even more space. It kind of fucked me a little bit in the end, but so I ended up plussing up because it was raining nonstop and we're wet. So, but anyway, also like for prep wise, before we got there, I was able to buy shit that I needed. Like I had to buy BDU bottoms. That's another thing you want to attend one of these classes. Just make sure you have a full M81 set of uniforms. So M81 bottoms and M81 top. All right, they're pretty strict about the uniform.
We were planning on packing less. We brought extra stuff just in case if the weather changed. We brought some like extra cold weather stuff like colder weather sleeping bag, which I was hoping not to take, but the night before I was like, I'm just gonna take it because I don't like being not sleeping at all.
Yeah, they did allow a 5 hours of dedicated sleep time where you weren't going to get it interrupted, but it was way late at night to like an early in the morning. So you had like 5 hours from 1 to 6. Yeah, just 1 to 5, 1 to 6. Actually sleep for people that had to drive home for safety stuff. Trying to value some quality sleep into the FTX, but at the end we didn't even need it. But
Yeah, so we did get to experience the infill and fucking defending a trench,
which was quite
a few hours.
You could take. We weren't even supposed to be there for a few hours. All right, but anyway, we'll get into the next part. So
what actually happened?
Yeah. So before even the FTX started, wake up was around 06 on Saturday morning, where we signed in. Everybody signed their waivers, signed your life away to the Gray Solutions Group.
Sign it with blood.
Yeah, forfeiting all rights. Anyway, but
cut that part out. Not important. 6 a.m. you wake up, and then at 7 it's PT time, which I'm curious what you thought of.
They hold a formation. It's very traditional military style formation.
And then the PT was about an hour, which we started off with some stretching because you don't want to pull a hammy. And then we did, I don't know, the run didn't seem that far. It was probably about half a mile, I would say.
It was like,
to the
I think I heard someone say it was about 3/4 of a mile. Even then, it was at a painfully slow pace.
Probably like a 10.5 or 11-minute pace or something.
And honestly, I think it sucked worse than me trying to PR a fucking run. But yeah, we even had people fall out at a painfully slow pace that we didn't even make it 300 yards.
Nobody in our team though, in our squad, because we were.
Oh, it was in our squad.
Okay, I don't want to. But anyways, the PT was basically a bunch of calisthenics, and then the cool part was a little bit of combatives where you had to wrestle the guy next to you, and that was the most exhausting part, trying to put someone on their ass. And Grant will say it was already raining in the field we were doing it in. It was already like full of water, so like I was thinking I'll stay somewhat dry in PT, and then I'll have a poncho on later, and I'll be pretty dry during it. Dude, now you get soaked. We got soaked in the PT because we had to lay on the ground and
wrestling in a muddy farm field.
Yeah, which was pretty fun, exhausting.
Actually, I liked it. I would like to incorporate more combatives into maybe our personal training.
Yeah, nothing like trying to fight for your life a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I felt like I did okay within the physical wrestling. I don't know how you feel like you did.
I lost, dude.
What, you lost?
I lost. I wasn't prepared. I need to learn how to wrestle, to be honest.
I don't know. You do more hand-to-hand stuff like boxing.
I've done Muay Thai, but the wrestling's totally different.
Yeah.
But pretty easy stuff.
Definitely good for physical fitness if you're trying to train like PvP style.
Yeah, I think at the time when I asked my brother at the end of the PT session, I was like, what would you rate that? And I think, what did you say, 6.5 or 7?
I think I said a 7.
Yeah, and for me, after I was like, I probably could have been a little bit harder. Granted, though, we were supposed to have like a long mission afterwards. You probably don't want to wear people out too crazy much, like smoke everyone. It was probably well-fitting. It probably could have been a little bit harder, but I didn't want to say that because I was like, who wants to get smoked more,
I guarantee you the PT before it is supposed to like help you simulate being in a combat zone for a longer period of time, even though this was just like a weekend thing. Tire you down a little bit without a very long rest period. So it's not like you get the whole day off before you work out again. No, you work out and then you go run your ops. So you're still tired. You're not in a recovery phase. So you're still running operations and consuming calories. We only did get after we got back from PT, you get about from 8 to like we didn't step off till 10:30, so like till 8 to 10:30 we had kind of like our break period where we got chow, so they had breakfast ready for us. So like eggs, sausage, some tortillas, biscuits, stuff like that. And then
brief.
Yeah, they did a brief, safety brief. We had to do PCIs and PCC checks before we stepped off. So everybody had to get their shit on, made sure everybody came it up. Make sure
no one has live rounds on them.
Yeah, so I go through everybody's stuff as a team leader. I need you to open up this one. Anyway, I made sure both my guys didn't have any live rounds. Gave both of them, or at least I already supplied him with camo paint prior to the event. And then our other guy got some camo paint, face paint, or whatever before then. If you are curious about how to do face paint, light colors on the dark spots of your face, darker colors on the more sun-prone parts of your face. Pretty simple. Or you can do cool designs and not give a fuck.
I will say that was my first time I ever put on face paint, which I listened to the advice did, and I did watch like a Brent 0331 video about that like a month ago, and I just winged it. And honestly, I don't know if we need to let it set sooner, but in the rain, it didn't hold on as well as I would have liked.
It did, yeah, it did come off. But you're like normally during missions and stuff like that, you're supposed to reapply it. Because when you sweat and everything will come off. And with the between the sweating and torrential downpour, a lot of it did come off. So like a lot of guys were already almost clean. I didn't shave, so I know it was getting stuck in my beard or whatever. And it looked pretty gross and felt pretty gross. But it's part of what it is, especially when you're a white pasty male.
Yeah. So let's get into the infill.
The infill, oh my gosh. Okay, so we loaded up, we leave the building, we get in the vehicles, we all load up. I was kind of hoping we were getting in the back of the truck.
Yeah, and before you get further, basically we were going to infill, get to the trench where we're going to defend, and then run recon missions out from there.
Yeah, we were supposed to run across the field. We ended up getting a curveball that completely actually surprised everybody. If you watch the full video, they called drone. They simulated a drone kind of attacking our vehicle, and we had to bail out of it. So, but like we were there, I remember loading into the vehicle. I had my assault pack was strapped underneath the first flap of my ruck, clipped in and cinched down, and I had to have it turned upside down when I was loading into the vehicle and had it sit on my lap, and I didn't have a whole lot of space. And so when they called drone and we had to bail out of the vehicle, I remember just like, I was really squished in there. Like I couldn't move my head for very much or nothing. And my game plan was, if I had to bail out of this vehicle, I was like, I'm just going to throw it off of me and get out. And basically that's what happened. And when I threw it off of me, my assault pack became disconnected from my ruck and went straight into a puddle, which really kind of pissed me off and upsetted me, because my drone was in my assault pack in the pouch that went into this deep puddle. And I'm like, I just got this thing like 2 months ago, and I haven't used it. Was for like the channel and this mission. It went right into the puddle, and I was like, oh my God, I hope that doesn't ruin it. So I was a little upset and worried about it. I got it out of the puddle as soon as I possibly could. I kept it in like a soft shell, but it's like kind of like in between a hard and soft. And it was really just nerve-wracking thinking about if it was going to work again or not. Luckily, it just rained the entire time and I didn't have to use it. So I waited like a couple days after the event and turned it on after drying it out. Worked fine. But yeah, that sucked. And then I ended up carrying my assault pack off my ruck the entire time, because we didn't really
on your shoulder with one arm.
Yeah, and it definitely hindered my ability to pull security and shoulder my rifle. So that sucked. And I probably could have, when we're like trying to recalibrate where we were gonna go, or trying to figure out or triangulate our position so we can make our way to the trench.
Because the place we were at, we didn't get dropped off. We were planning on getting dropped off.
No, we just got dropped off on the side of the road, and we had to trudge through some bushes and then get into a tree line and reestablish our security. And then we had to send our Bravo team to their OP, where they're supposed to secure a part of a roadway. And then we were supposed to make our way to the trench. We ended up having to do some river cross, well, actually, it wasn't. It was supposed to be a stream. That stream that we crossed in there was literally supposed to, like, I've seen it before, and it's, and through other videos that were shared with me, and it's like ankle deep regularly. And that thing was almost up to it was like past our knees, getting to our hips.
Almost waist deep, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes I made with my kit was, I'm a little sloppy, I'll admit. I bought a new butt pack for my LBE like a week beforehand, put it on, didn't test it out with my ruck at all. And the problem I had when I was before we started our mission, I could get my ruck on top of my butt pack, which was too high for wearing a ruck, but I could put it on a table and then I'd be fine once I put it on. But I did not expect to have to get out of the truck so quick that I wasn't able to get it on, so I had to carry it with one arm, which was, very tiring. I don't know how much my pack weighed. My guess would be around 60 pounds with all the shit and water that I had in it. We weren't going far, but carrying that with one arm exhausted me for sure. And I didn't get it put on until we were a little bit deeper into the woods, and my brother helped me, which, yeah, that was embarrassing. I should be able to put on my ruck quicker than that. And I thought that I'd have more time, and I didn't, so that's one thing that I have to keep in mind. And that definitely gassed me a lot more. I thought that I'd be more prepared fitness-wise, because before we went to this FTX, I was running 2 miles twice a week for like 2 months, and my cardio is still not that amazing. Like, I think my time before, like a week before, was 16:47 or something was my 2 mile time. But yeah, apparently muscular endurance and just straight up cardio are a little bit different. My heart was pounding. You hear me breathing like a fat guy that ate too many cheeseburgers and about to have a heart attack. And yeah, that was embarrassing. I'm like, shit. And that led to me getting very sloppy with the movements being slow. And then when it came to pulling security and having following protocol when it comes to formations, it was very bad. But our squad leader kept me in line, and I had a run point, which I was like, fuck, I am a retard and not prepared for this. And I got a run point, and I didn't know where I was going. But our squad leader kept me together.
Another aspect of this was we never spent too much. I've never spent too much time in Ohio, but like we're out there, like I've never been to this area. You know, you just get dropped off in some random woods line. It's very disorienting on
not knowing the terrain,
not knowing where to go and whatnot. It's wild, like the kind of the feeling of like dumbfoundedness that you have. So being able to think on your feet is very important on what to do and gather yourself, because that can really mean like life and death.
Yeah, your kit should be set up so simple that you need to be able to be fast. And my kit was not, at least my ruck setup was not set up for being fast at all. And then thought I could just stay dry with a poncho, which ponchos are cool, but trying to have a poncho on, throw a ruck on quick, having a butt pack too high, and I was just getting tangled up in my poncho, like tripping over it, getting choked by it a bit. It should end up being helpful a little bit later, but I might ditch the poncho in the infill in hindsight and then put it on later when I have more time.
I think you're the only guy that wore a poncho on Infill.
Yeah.
Out of all the crews, I think he's the only one. I know I just wore like my rain jacket. I know a lot of people didn't even wear a rain jacket. They just wore their uniform and just on the infill.
And you know what happened to those motherfuckers, dude?
They got cold.
They're like, I'm cold. It's 65 degrees out, and people were getting cold because they were wet, which says something about staying dry.
Even with my rain jacket, it seeped through. So I eventually did get wet because it was just pouring. You know, it probably could have been from sweat too. But yeah, it was just torrential downpour the entire time. There was no staying dry.
And what happened with your footwear?
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, like, especially, I have Solomon Gore-Tex or GTX 4D Gore-Tex boots. They're pretty expensive, and they're great mountain boots if they're dry. They got drenched within, I think the first 20 minutes we were being out there.
Nah, bro, dude, the first 10 minutes we did a river crossing.
We had to cross the river, and then once all that Gore-Tex, I was like walking in cups of water. My feet were soaked entirely through, and it would definitely have sucked. I'm gonna sit in those boots for days. And I remember when I got home, I set those boots outside and for when it stopped raining over here, and then let it dry. It took like a week from the dry out. And like, I'm thinking about long term wearing boots for a week that take the dry out and you're not wearing them. That's ridiculous. So I think I'm gonna switch to more of a jungle boot style. I'm definitely eyeing the non-jungle boots.
Especially when it can rain. Like if the winter waterproof's nice, but like if you're gonna get wet, then it's nice to have some let your feet breathe a little bit and let the water flow through so they narrow out.
So I mean that's definitely something I'm gonna look into, is changing out my boots, at least for like summer, spring kind of thing. Solomon 4D Quest.
Dude, stop trying to fucking name these bullshit fucking expensive ass
$250 boots.
Yeah, and he went to fucking.
And I want to swap them out already. But anyway, they're great mountain boots. But other than that, fucking, they get wet, you're fucked.
But anyways, we crossed 2 streams. We ended up making it to the trench, which we had to cross some streams and some LDAs.
What is it? I know we had a cameraman with us, which was confusing me for some reason on why. Which side I should be on while doing a stagger column or something. I wasn't sure whether
you're overthinking that, dude.
I was really way overthinking. I was like, should I pretend he's not here or should I pretend he's here? So
at that point, just pick a side.
So I was just like, sometimes I was like, I'd follow behind him and pretend he's not there and be like, and then other times I'd be off to the right. So I got a little confused with that. But I know we had a hard time, I think, like picking up, like, remembering the pool security. There's times I know, like, as soon as we got in there, I was like, and we were trying to re-coordinate and figure out our position and go to the trench line. I was like, oh shit, we need to be pool security. And I'd be like, tell the guys, be like, hey, pool security this way. Tell my team pool security that way.
The thing, we were supposed to be in friendly territory, but we did cross some LDAs, and I think we were trying to get to the trench as quickly as possible because we kind of rushed them. I feel like we didn't really follow protocol. Like with the first river crossing, we pretty much had 0 security when we were crossing the first river.
The area we were supposed to infill in friendly territory, that we were supposed to infill in with a sense of purpose, because if you didn't, you would pay for it. And there was another squad, not ours, that infilled, and they didn't go in with a sense of purpose, and they got engaged at Op 4 at the on their infill, and they got waxed. So there's that, and they actually got to their infill point. We didn't even get to our infill point. We just got dropped. We had to bail out of our vehicle within way sooner than we were supposed to.
Still could have pulled some more security across the LDAs, probably. Part of it, I mean, I definitely take responsibility for being not being in shape enough to just like pull security automatically when I got to the LDA when I was taking point, and yeah.
I think like one thing to work on really is like working on your explosive energy output of things. I guess like
they call it like
doing
HIIT or
sprints or something, like high intensity workouts for like short periods. And that's what I noticed, like getting out of a vehicle, like throwing your ruck off you, picking your shit up. Like I forget, I don't even know, I didn't even weigh my ruck. I know it was heavy, and I just like picked it up, running in a tree line through some bushes or something. And then, regroup with everybody.
Yeah, and we didn't know the terrain that well. Our spacing was probably pretty bad. I think we were too close a lot of times.
We were jumbling up at points, but then we'd fix ourselves and then catch ourselves in problems because there was like so many obstacles with the environment, especially with the torrential downpour, the flooding, and then trying to navigate through thick brush. There was a lot of trails, though, that we were able to take to get to the trench, but we would also, like, come across, like you say, like a flooded stream or trying to figure out where to go. Where our squad leader was kind of new where to go. He was navigating us, and he was the point guy, so he just kind of direct him. Getting his attention was kind of hard, especially with him just kind of focusing on, like, go forward. He told me go this way.
Yeah, trying to hear people over the rain too.
He says go straight. I go straight until told otherwise. And then getting his attention was a little bit rough. I remember we had to like relay up some like verbal commands because I know he was just in the zone, trucking forward, being exhausted and all. And even if you think you like you're physically fit, man, it's a different mindset when you're like carrying a bunch of equipment. You have some fucking curveballs sent into your game plan, and you just have to improvise the entire thing.
Yeah.
It really fucks you up mentally, physically, and stuff like that. And you have to. It's not a controlled environment.
Yeah, I feel like my running cardio is decent, but one of the things I'm gonna work on is like doing high reps of like squats and deadlifts, because like I can run 2 miles no problems, but like after a set of like 10 reps on deadlift or squat, like sometimes like I'm like almost feel like I have to faint or something. Like I might have to like take a knee or hold on to something. So like high reps of light to medium weight on squats and deadlifts with your legs, or doing like weighted lunges for like a somewhat longer period of time. is going to be helpful. And then once we got up to the trench, we had to say like a challenge word, which I didn't actually know the challenge word till we got there when our squad leader told us.
We weren't briefed on the challenge. I wish we were. I think it would have been more formal instead of telling us last minute. It was...
It's like, what's the challenge word?
Challenge word was modern. The password was history. Supposed to do that so you don't... If someone comes up on your AO or some shit and you don't know who they are and you yell it out, they can identify themselves as a friendly by knowing the password. We found this out right before we approached the trench, probably about like 100 yards from it. And then our squad leader ended up just taking lead at that point. He was like, I'll take a point. Got our challenge password in and then walked up to the trench.
Pep up, boy.
Pep up.
Don't fall asleep. Yeah, then we got to the trench, and it was still raining, and we knew that the trench was going to be flooded and muddy. But to be honest, dude, I had zero experience, like, walking around with Kit with a gun in an extremely muddy position, dude, and that mud got all over the place.
I kicked everything up. I know, like, as soon as we got to the trench, they're like, hey, dump your rucks off underneath these tarps. Go help set up some fighting positions. We ended up just pulling up some security while the guys set up some fighting positions. We weren't supposed to be there very long. We were supposed to end up getting to the trench, immediately prepping for our reconnaissance mission that we were supposed to do, which, man, that took a whole curveball in itself for a right wing fucking turn. Because as soon as we got there, we ended up pulling security. Everybody ended up leaving. It was just our team sitting guarding the trench. Bravo team took contact, took a casualty. I made 9-line cards, salute, and lace report cheat sheets for everybody, all the team leaders and squad leaders. And the Bravo team leader dropped the ball on the casualty, the 9-line exfil part. I remember our PLO just being like, I'll just go fuck myself after being like, hey, can you give me a 9-line? What's your location? He's like, north. And our PLO was like, yeah, I'll just go fuck myself. Like, they didn't have a means of signaling their location or anything, so it was kind of
did that entire team get wasted?
This one guy, but they ended up quitting or something, I think.
I remember one team was saying, the Op 4 was saying they saw a team hanging out by the road and they all got spotted and shot down.
I might have been the Bravo team. Like, they didn't have Bravo team really dropped the ball. I remember hearing over the radio that when the medevac guys got there to exfil them, they weren't at the spot that they said they were because they gave the wrong location. And then they also didn't have a way to mark their location to get their casualty out. So that was their Bravo team leader dropped the ball. And they were just supposed to be setting up an OP on the side of the road.
Yeah, I guess that went south pretty quick.
And they were supposed to get replaced by second squad. And then the Bravo team was supposed to come back, take the trench, and then or second squad, something like that. And we were all supposed to kick out and go up do our reconnaissance mission. But yeah, that got a curveball because they got spotted on the road or something, took a casualty. And then second squad, I got lost, and then we ended up just manning the trench for several hours waiting for people to get back and before it indexed.
Yeah, that was fun, dude. Just sitting in. The mud was really deep. Like, it was above my ankles, like going into the mud.
It was definitely like where I was at in this like dugout. The cool part about these trenches is they had guys actually that were over in Ukraine help design the trench system that they dug out. And we got to meet them, some cool dudes. Briefly talked to them. We didn't really get to talk to them too much. They helped design the trench system that they made. It was very sophisticated and realistic. But the mud, like in my spot at least, was going up to my calf. So calf height of mud, you're just sinking in. Willie, our squad leader, ended up bringing me over like 2 logs that I was able to stand on, at least get my almost my feet out of the mud. And they just sink in. And it was pretty grimy. Honestly.
It would have been miserable to stay there all day, dude. I can't even imagine staying there.
Honestly, like I was looking forward to that patrol. I was like, let's go on that recon.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get out
of this trench.
I couldn't wait for that, dude. And one of the things that we didn't pack were rifle clean kits, which was retarded. Because I thought, it was going to be a nice sunny May spring day. And it was not, dude, when I cleaned my rifle afterwards, dude, I saw like there's mud in it. There's mud in my D60 that creeped into it. And there's nothing. I didn't wear gloves. I might have been able to wear gloves if I didn't want muddy hands, but it was all over, dude.
I wore gloves, but I would take them off when I had to eat or something like that and put them back on. They're so caked up. I kept my hands semi-decent. One thing that was really nice was having lens covers or kill flashes. They kept the mud off my optical devices and my lenses, so those kept those clean and usable. So another use for your kill flash is keeping mud off that shit.
You gotta get puffed up, dude. You sound like you're falling asleep in the middle of this.
Yeah, well, maybe I go 100% down to 20.
Just fucking fake it, dude. Just fake
it till you make it.
Fake it.
Anyway, yeah. Kill flash is really great shit. Helps keep your lenses clean.
Or what'd you have on your scope?
My scope, I just got the 100 Concepts fucking scope caps.
Yeah, that's nice, dude. My red dot had mud in it, which I think if you're running, been tough.
I think if you're running the kill flashes, like the hexagon kill flashes and stuff like that.
Imagine that getting mud in it.
Oh my god, that would have.
If that got mud in it, dude, that would have been tough getting that out.
I just know the mud was able to stay off my flashlights and everything just because of those kill flashes or the caps or whatever.
Yeah, probably should have brought a rifle cleaning kit because if we were there for days, definitely would need to clean your rifle. It could get rusty or you just get a bunch of shit in it.
CLP, make sure. Been great to have that shit. Actually, I noticed like afterwards, like I was cleaning my my sling. Now I don't have the same QD points at the end. One's BCM and one's the mag pull, but one of them is actually completely pretty much ruined.
Locked up.
Yeah, it's locked up. I don't know if it's the mag pull one or the BCM one, but it's one of the two.
I have a mag pull one, dude. Mine's fine.
Okay. Let me see your mag pull one.
I just put CLP in it.
All right, I was able to put mag pull one's good. BCM one fucking sucks. So
yeah, or you just didn't lube it well enough.
My BCM one failed and it's locked up now, and my mag pull one is good to go.
Yeah, imagine sleeping in that trench, dude. I think we would have just like gone out of the trench and like slept up on a hill for the night, dude. If you actually were in a situation where you had to sleep in that trench, that would have sucked balls.
I already know, like my game plan for sleeping that night was I was going to sleep outside of the trench kind because that thing was just gonna fucking flood anyway. And I remember my FTX from my OSET training. So it's it's like one long course. But anyway, for my OSET training days, basic for infantry was sitting during our FTX was sitting in a foxhole in November when it rained nonstop. My foxhole filled all the way up to my fucking waistline of water, and that's kind of what I was like relating to with the trench line. Is just like sitting in a fucking hole with like water up to your whatever, and it just sucked and it's dirty.
Yeah, your toes would look like a ball sack. They would have got shriveled up so much. Well, probably would get trench foot, honestly.
Oh yeah, they're like the Ukraine guys were telling us that like trench foot can set in within like 10 hours or something. So I know with my Gore-Tex boots, and they would not have been dry ever. Even if I put fresh socks on and change the soles, dude, my boots would have been cooked. How'd you You did a lot of refortification.
I was mainly trying to fucking set up a tarp, though. It was an enormous tarp. I don't know how big it is. It might have been 20 by 20 feet or 30 by 30 feet, but me and this other guy were trying to set it up. Because it was raining so much, it was really hard to pull it tight to get it. So eventually it got to a point where I was like, fuck it, not going to get it good enough. We just put up like long sticks underneath to like try to prop it up so some water went up, but that didn't work at all, and the rain would just... You'd put it up, and then 5 minutes later, there'd be like several gallons of water on the tarp. And I just imagine if we had stayed there longer, that tarp might have ripped from all the weight.
I know, like, when I was in my fighting position, when I knew I had to, like, drain my tarp, was I had to, like, punch it a little bit. Because I'd start to feel it hit the side of my helmet and weigh my head down, and I'd just, like, hit it a couple times, and I'd see it drain out the back. So, like, it was just constantly... just like torrential downpour. It sucked. But I mean, like, I honestly was having a lot of fun with the little bit of time that I was there. I was just excited. I was just hoping that I'd get kicked out for a reconnaissance mission soon, which unfortunately never came.
Yeah. We didn't even get to shoot our gun, man. That was heartbreaking.
I mean, we weren't supposed to. It was supposed to be like, we were supposed to go do area reconnaissance, be undetected. And then if we did get contact, we were supposed to break contact. But we never even got a chance to break contact or anything. Almost makes me wish I was Bravo team, took a casualty. So I could drop the ball and make fun of myself for it. Yeah,
so definitely have an FTX itch after that.
Yeah.
Definitely want to try doing that again as soon as possible. Because honestly, I haven't, before we went there, I wasn't thinking too much, oh, we got to do an FTX. After even just doing it for half a day, I realized how valuable it is. For one, you get to network, meet other guys. Two, you get to test your gear and your skills in a more realistic training environment. Three, you're getting some a lot more experience than you would if you're just like walking around the woods or going to the range or some even, bullshit like that.
LARPing by yourself in the woods or something.
Not really.
You only get so much experience from that. Being in a large group of people or in a team or squad and coordinating with them is a whole different ball game from LARPing by yourself, filming yourself walking around some woods, shooting at trash or whatever, tree stumps. But, you know, yeah, it looks cool on camera, but like once you get out there with some other guys, especially if you don't know them or anything like that, you know, like in training with them, you gotta like, it's a whole different ball game of like learning.
It really opened my eyes a lot about how we're not doing enough for more group training events, because you're not going to be effective as like a very small team, or you, or even just three of your friends or some bullshit like that. You really need to get out there and meet people, which is why I think we need to start putting our Telegram channel to more use. And that's how we met this FTX. We'll find out about this FTX and hoping to do a lot more.
Yeah, hopefully to do more FTXs, maybe even go back out to the Gray Solution group guys and training with them. Hoop did a really good job putting that stuff together. It was a lot of effort putting that stuff together. It really sucked what happened with having them that index it early due to safety concerns, and I really get why they did, and I think they did it for the better outcome of everybody.
I mean, it was the right thing to do, and they put in a hell of a lot of work to plan that.
Yeah, so I think even they were disappointed in the outcome of it. And I know sharing some videos that we sent them, they were pretty disappointed that I had to get indexed early too, because they were like, this would have been really cool. But like,
it looked cool for the few hours that it lasted.
Yeah, I know I learned a lot with like kit and stuff, and especially being in the trudge. Having the ability to have a assault pack and not just run off a ruck is very important. I'm trying to like right now, I'm trying to like, I don't think the medium malice pack's the way to go anymore. I might have to go towards my large.
You also do have like 20 pouches on you.
It's a lot for a lot of small stuff and organization, which is great. But at the same time, when you gotta carry like a bunch of special, I think I was carrying a lot of specialty items too. I had the drone, I had all the little special makeshift IED thingies that I had to take, and then the detonators, and you know, that was a lot of extra equipment on top of everything, and then the leaf suits and everything, and that didn't really all fit compactly with my my equipment that I needed. If I brought my large Alice over my medium, it would have been able to fit already all that shit.
You probably could have distributed some of the shit that you had to other people, dude. I probably could have fit something else in my large Alice pack that could have made your setup a lot easier. You're carrying a lot of shit.
Yeah, you know, I think I probably could have, you know, gave somebody the detonators or
the drone or something.
Or the I could have. I just didn't like think about like, I didn't want to give anyone the drone because I was like, man, I already paid for this. I'm gonna be, if someone else breaks, I'll be mad as fuck at them, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna carry it. The IED material, I probably would have fake stuff, but I probably should have distributed that out to somebody else. And I had some plans for that stuff too, because we were supposed to do some armored vehicle. And I was also thinking, I was like, oh, if we got to retrograde out of this trench, we could rig the trench. So
yeah, we didn't get to.
So that would have been really good, but we didn't get to do that, unfortunately.
I think.
Do you think would any more of the stuff you would have changed? I know, like, my chest pockets on my BDU, yeah, they're usually all vertical. I ended up canting them inwards so I could access them now, because I took a stitch ripper, ripped them off, and reset them back on angled, because I remember I was trying to access my phone while, I forget, I think it was just wet. I was making sure it still worked or something, because we got so submerged. I was just like, okay, it's still here, you know, it's still, because it was like, I took it with me.
Nah, I just had to figure out the ruck and the LB thing. I want to get a new, different type of belt that can like sit lower, because that cheap LB, Air Force LB I got, it's not the best for adding a heavy load to it and then to adjusting it lower without my pouches being in front of my legs, which hinders mobility. I think if you're interested in an FTX like this, join the StatTech Telegram channel. You can check out Gray Solutions Group in the link in the description below. If you're local to the West Virginia, PA, VA area, join the Telegram channel. Let us know. Maybe we can organize something. It's a little bit closer, because for us that was a hike. We're definitely going to be going back. But if you're interested in something like that, let us know.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, check out Telegram.
Yeah, like if you're not gay.
And thanks for watching, guys.